are putting on this TEDx event. When he first emailed me, I had to look it up, which my son, who went to school with Monty, said, yeah, everybody knows this, Mom. So evidently, how many of you know what it is? See, well, I know you guys know. That's no fair. That's like cheating. Right, you guys have lived it. But so I'm going to let Monty tell us a little bit about the event, why they're doing it, what the theme is, and then of course we will be here for the event, which is why we walked up the street. We have a perfectly lovely building, but it won't hold the number of people we're hoping to draw for this. So without further ado.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the very warm introduction. My name is Monty. I'm the licensed organizer for TedXDouglasville, which has really come to fruition as a thanks to a number of high school and collegiate students, originally who came from Douglas County, some who went off to Georgia Tech, some who went off to UGA, and a bunch of other colleges, really decided to set up some kind of community building event back from the city of Douglasville. So what is TEDx, right? So one of the most difficult things we've had to do is kind of explain the idea of TEDx, because it's one that's somewhat unfamiliar here in Southwest Atlanta. And the idea behind TEDx is it's a community building day, one day out of the year, where we bring in speakers from in, around, and outside the Metro Atlanta area to speak on their own specific subject matters of which they are experts. And they're speaking on these topics specifically as it relates to a theme that we think speaks to the nature of Douglasville. So the theme for this year is In with the Old, In with the New, which is actually based off of Douglasville's motto, New Growth, Old Charm, and Always Home. So the idea behind the event is we're bringing 120, 130 attendees to this year beautiful ballroom, conference center, auditorium right there, where we're going to have 6 different speakers speaking on everything from computational astrophysics to, some of you may be familiar with Elena Myers, her experience in Sochi Olympics, bobsledding, everything from motivation to marketing, everything from education for minority students to emergency healthcare prevention, all as it relates to one theme that speaks to the nature of Douglasville. In with the old, in with the new. So that's the central idea. Now, one of the other questions a lot of you may be asking is why? Why did we start this? And really, I don't want to take credit because really it's thanks to my team here, Joshua, Barnett, Gary, Ali, Kimberly. Can't forget my dad over there, great inspiration. There's that smile, absolutely. So it's been quite a community building approach. But when we first started TEDx, it was for me an experience looking back in. So what do I mean by that? So as someone who had really been raised in Douglasville, who had gone to Atlanta every once in a while, I ended up going to Georgia Tech. So 30 minutes down the street, I-20, right? Downtown Atlanta. Now, there's one thing between visiting Atlanta and it's another thing living there. You learn you are not in Douglasville. It's a different world. It really is. I mean, just to be candid, when you've got a strip club twice the size of your dorm, a couple blocks down the street, you're like, all right, Dorothy, you're not in Douglasville. It's a different world, absolutely. But what effect this had is when I came back to Douglasville, and I think I speak for a lot of our students who are college students now coming back to Douglasville, it made us more observant, and it also made us more appreciative of the city that we've come to live in, and we've come to have grown out of, the city that we've come to love. Of course, it has its benefits and its disadvantages, just like any other city. But what we have come to do is observe and see the changes that are happening in Douglasville, and also what makes Douglasville Douglasville. It's kind of like stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. And for us, it was a chance to step back. And so, as the motto of the city goes, New Growth, Old Charm, Always Home. We saw things like the conference center, which was recently built. We see new businesses coming in, like Qurate. Google's got a data center. There's been a lot of talk about Foxhome. So even whether or not you like these changes or not, one of the things we have to agree to is the fact that they exist and they're happening. And this is a growing city, and that's a reality we have to face. And it's always getting better for our community residents. But the other thing is that old charm. There's something that makes Douglasville Douglasville. It has a history. It has values. It has traditions. Those can't be ignored. That's what makes Douglasville Douglasville. And so the whole point of this event was to bring together these 6 different speakers to talk about that idea. How can we bring together the values, the traditions of what makes Douglasville Douglasville, all the way back to the day when it was first called Skin Chestnut? And how do we pair that with that new growth, the increased infrastructure? All the things that are happening. Douglasville's growing. So these are changes that are happening along with those conservative traditions. And so this event was a chance for us to bring out the community of Douglasville to answer that question in 6 different fields. As I mentioned, everything from education, healthcare, motivation, marketing, so many different phases, so many different realms that have the same similar idea that we think speaks to Douglasville. And really we want to say thank you, because for us, we're a strange amalgamation of collegiate and high school students, and I get it's kind of funny, it's kind of strange. I've had a number of people who, after my email correspondence with them, they come up to me and they're like, you're in college? What's going on here? And so they get kind of, they kind of phase and like, what is this? But for us, one of the things that really makes this event so worthwhile is because it did not start with us and it does not end with us. So what do I mean by that? This event started in the community. Yeah, sure, we're doing phenomenal work. I mean, these students have sacrificed hours on hours to bring it to fruition. But, without the help of small businesses in the county like Comfort Cars, and Logos Atlantic, Points for Anything, and big businesses like Google and Walmart, without the help of individuals like Jennifer Bean, who really kind of made this conference center a reality for us, without the help of Miss Kaylee Boatwright, who really brought us into the fold of the small business community, without the help of Sentinel. I mean, Sentinel has